Hey, I'm Jeff and welcome back to another video. I sometimes get questions asking how I care for and manage such a large houseplant collection. Now, I've been growing houseplants for many years, but these plants downstairs here, it was basically just a bare area in my basement. I started off with this little workshop table just to have an area where I can work on plants, and it's kind of morphed into this little YouTube studio. So I'm extremely proud of what I've done with these houseplants, but basically what my time consists of is just general maintenance. Fortunately, I have a job where I get 5 days off, so I usually have the time for this type of maintenance. So I will go around checking leaves, watering, also dusting and all that kind of stuff. So it's basic general maintenance, but ultimately it comes down to the amount of time that you have. Recently, I watched a video from THICCLY, and in Lee's video, he had a few YouTubers kind of mention what makes a good houseplant collection. And there's 2 points that I kind of took away from this video, and it does apply to my collection as well. You have to have plants that make you happy, and you have to have a collection that is manageable. Now, there's some very similar things that I do with my houseplant collection that Lee did in his video. So I just wanted to share some of the things that necessarily don't make my videos, but is a very common thing in my houseplant collection. What you don't see in this video right now is right down here, I have a trash bag. In Lee's video, he mentions that he's dealing with a pretty consistent thrip issue and basically just tosses some of his houseplants out. Now, I'm dealing with the same issue as well. I'm constantly finding thrips, but I try not to let it stress me out. Basically, what I do is I take all of my plants when they need water. I shouldn't say all, but when they need water, I take them over to my shower, I spray them off, and then I use a little insecticidal soap to treat the leaves as well. But sometimes that can be quite overwhelming, especially if you have a lot of houseplants like this. There's a number of ways that you can deal with this situation. You can give the plants away, but sometimes just throwing them out actually feels really good. Like this Peperomia Hope, it's constantly just looking like trash. There's damaged leaves. I know there's a pest issue with this, and honestly, I just don't have the time or energy to invest in this plant any longer. Sometimes it just feels good to take it outside and throw it in the compost bin. You can practice your free throw shots, whatever it is, but don't hesitate or don't feel bad if you throw out a houseplant. I have this Syngonium Mojito as well as a Wenlandia, I think it's called. It's just looking like trash all the time. Now, I don't have, again, any time or energy that I want to invest in this plant. So for this one, I'm just going to take a top cutting here of both of these plants, and I'm going to put them in water and hopefully restart them or regrow them from a smaller plant. I'm going to put it on a moss pole, and that'll be another video for down the road. But there's constantly damage on the leaves. This one dries out really fast as well, and honestly, it's a bit neglected. So I'm just taking a couple cuttings, placing them in water, and then same thing with the Peperomia Hope. I'm taking the rest of this plant outside, and sometimes it can be a little bit of a therapy session and you just throw it out. Now, I know a lot of people probably don't like throwing houseplants out, and honestly, it's not going in the garbage. That is a compost bin, so it's going to be mixed up into dirt again. Now, if you don't want to throw out a houseplant, you can always give them away, but just make sure that you tell people that they have a potential pest issue. So besides watering my houseplants, and I just realized this PC Lily needs some water as it's looking a little bit droopy, I have to maintain my humidifiers. I try and keep the humidity around kind of 55%. I watered all of my houseplants in my IKEA cabinet yesterday. Everything is looking pretty fresh. And yeah, I got my little humidifier and fan going. Here's a new leaf just unfurling, and here is the last leaf. So this thing is going to be absolutely massive. So it does take a lot of time, but thankfully I enjoy this hobby, and that's what it is to me, is a hobby. Now, what I do is I will just kind of observe all of my houseplants, and then I'll find ones like this right down here. This is some sort of, I can't even remember, a Monstera, and honestly, I cut these leaves off because I found thrips on this. There's a new leaf emerging, but it just looks like trash all the time. I don't have time for plants like this. So unfortunately, it's time. It's the end of its time. Come on, get in there. What is... Okay, it's right in there. Actually, the roots are growing out the bottom. Okay, I'm gonna keep the pot. There. It's like outdoor gardening. It's supposed to be peaceful, it's supposed to be relaxing, and that's what I do indoors here as well. I do have one other thing that I want to do before I wrap up this video. I salvaged this piece of wood from my garage, and I've just cut out kind of some little notches at the bottom just so it can accommodate into this pot right here. So this is my water-grown Monstera deliciosa. It's been in water for over a year, I think about 14 months now, and it's getting a new leaf. I recently did a kind of like a repot into a 4-liter pickle jar. And for the last year, it's basically been resting up against the side of my IKEA cabinet, and it's been sizing up very nicely. I'm very impressed with the progress of this plant, but I want to add a proper support at the back of the glass container. Okay, hopefully this whole plant fits into the frame here. Since repotting it in this larger pickle jar, I've had it in this black nursery pot just to control the algae. When you have a clear container like this and you have a light source facing it, then you will tend to have an algae buildup. So I actually haven't taken it out of the container here just to look at the roots. Since the repotting, I've just been topping up the water, so I'm actually curious to see, yeah, that's awesome. Virtually no algae. So I know I had lots of people say that, so you can see there's pretty much no algae in there with lots of nice root growth. So I did have a lot of people say, you know, just cover up the container and it should block out the light for the algae. And I knew that, I got lazy, and yeah, I just went out to my shed one day and found this plastic nursery pot, and it's obviously done well. So now I'm going to place this board just on the inside of the glass, against the glass container on the inside of the plastic pot. So something like that, and I'm going to get some masking tape or some sort of tape, and I'm going to secure it to the outside of the jar, and then I'll secure the plant to the wood plank, and then that's it. Now, unfortunately, the only thing I have is black electrical tape. I took my masking tape to my camper, or my duct tape to my camper, and it's still in the camper. So I'll see if this works, and we'll go from there. The nice thing about this tape is it can come off pretty easy if needed. Oh man. There. Can't really see what I'm doing on that side, but something like that, just so it supports in the middle. So I'm just finishing up the bottom here, just wrapped it around once along there. I'll do one more at the top, and then that's it. It's definitely not the prettiest, but it is pretty stable. I am going to take off the lowest leaf right here, so I'm just going to snip that off like that, just so it can fit in the glass jar a bit better. Now I'm going to position it so that the back of the Monstera here is up against the plank. You can see this portion right here is up against the wood support. Now I'm just going to use some of this plant Velcro and secure it as best as I can to the plank. You don't want to put it on a leaf petiole. You just want it on the stem, butting up against the plank. Like that. I'm going to center it. You can always adjust it more if you need. Make it nice and snug. So something like that. And that is it. And now I'm just going to plunk this entire thing back into the black outer pot, and everything is nice and secure. So I think that's going to be pretty much it for this video. I hope you enjoyed this type of content. It's something that normally you wouldn't see on my channel, just throwing out houseplants or getting rid of them. But just keep your collection manageable and keep it fun. If you don't like a plant, or if it's just not looking good, don't feel bad about giving it away or throwing it out. It's for your health as well. So keep it fun, keep it, keep it exciting. So thanks for watching this video. Take care, everyone. Bye.